Hello, my name is Carol May Whittick, your creativity and spiritual life coach, and welcome to another episode of Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations. This week I'm talking about awe and wonder. From Albert Einstein, there are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle. You can live as if everything is a miracle. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and all science. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. And before I get into the episode, a couple of ways that I can support you. Firstly, join the mailing list. You'll receive emails with additional teaching points and resources for you to explore deeper on your own personal inquiry into creativity and spirituality, and also news of any upcoming events and exclusives. And talking of exclusives, save the date. On Wednesday, July the 14th of August, is the second Creative Confidence Masterclass. Within this, it's my intention as you join these masterclass is to give you tools to rediscover your creative abilities. I'll share with you spiritual practices that will help enhance your creativity and to build a stronger connection with your intuition, and then learn how you can integrate and use your creativity to enhance and expand all aspects of your life. All of the links to those are in the show notes below. From Henry Miller, the moment one gives close attention to anything, even a blade of grass, it becomes a mysterious, awesome, indescribably magnificent world in itself. Awe and wonder. Awe is when you have a feeling of reverence, of respect. And looking at some of the definitions has also said an undercurrent of fear or wonder, which I'm also very curious about. But we usually describe a feeling of awe when we sense that we find something that's greater and more powerful than ourselves. But I'll come back to that point. And then wonder is something that causes amazement or awe. A marvel, something astonishing, something seemingly inexplicable. Or someone who is very talented at something, a genius. Or wonder is the sense or the emotion which we can be inspired by something curious or unknown, surprise, astonishment. So these are some of the definitions that I found when I just looked at the word awe and wonder. And the first thing is to ask yourself a question. When were you last awed or in wonder in a way that it filled your heart and made you grateful to be alive? How can we return to living in awe and wonder? Why is living in awe and wonder so important? Having that amazement, having that curiosity can open us up to see the magic and the interconnectedness of the world that we live in. And I think this is really important because there are increasing messages and people talking about being in fear, being in anxiety. There's so much doom, there's so much division because we're focusing on the things and failing to notice the beauty that is literally at the tip of our nose. There is so much to experience in this world, and partly as a coping mechanism to our senses, we tend to not notice what is not needed. We block out everything but the necessities that we feel that we need to function. But the question is, are we blocking out too much? When we block out the opportunity for new to come in, we build our paradigm around what we see and what we believe is possible, and then can't imagine that there can be anything else or that anything else can be better. And as our world becomes more familiar, and you can think about anything that is overly familiar to you, then we go into automatic mode. Think about when you're learning to drive. It's such an overload of senses, overload of trying to build those neural patterns to get to the point where you can drive without thinking. And then you get to the point where you drive without thinking and can go for hours and not realize all the little things that are happening around you, all the little nuances and movements and awarenesses that you have to make that happen. And when we get into that automatic mode, we're creating routines. We switch off. We essentially become zombies within our own existence. now that we're in the technological age where we're constantly getting our attention fed, we have no time, or we don't allow ourselves the time to be bored enough to contemplate who we are and what we're doing here. You can choose to ask that question on as deep a level as you choose, but I do believe that we should ask ourselves that question every single day. And it can be as simple as, what am I doing today? What are my intentions through the day? How am I showing up for myself? How am I showing up for the people who need me? Or in a bigger way, what am I doing? How is this day impacting the rest of my life? How is this day impacting humanity and moving us forward? Having no sense of awe or wonder leaves us feeling disconnected, leaves us feeling powerless, leaves us feeling small. We see everything, we know everything already. Nothing is new, nothing is exciting. In that hopelessness, that uninspired state, the only thing that takes us out of that stuck state, that apathetic state, is when we get into fear or rage, and we can see that those who understand our emotions and how we operate are very adept at controlling humanity out of their apathy only to the state of fear or rage, and then allowing them to sink back into apathy again. And this is the closing of our hearts and our spirits. It's the death of our desire to create, because then we get to that point where we're like, well, nothing is good, everything is trash, what is the point? And it's the mass slide that I'm seeing into listlessness, and this is what we're witnessing today. We have lost touch of our personal power, shrinking down, believing ourselves to be nothing, and believing ourselves to be unable to create anything. But there is more to be in awe and wonder about than there is to fear. But of course, the latter makes the loudest noise, and that's what's captured our attention. But it's a trap. It's a lie. Your creativity and your spiritual awakening are born through awe and wonder, and it need not be complicated. So I invite you now to think about something simple. Think about the blood that's coursing around your body. Think about your heart beating. This is just a continuous process that we barely ever think about until our attention is brought back to us. And usually we barely ever think about until there is some sort of quote unquote issue with that. When you're thinking about your blood flowing in your body, when you're thinking about your heart beating, how is that possible? And of course, the mind is then going to go to the biological breakdown of what is happening that we've been taught. But can we get past that? Can we get to the point of who or what originated this, and what, in spite of all of the things that are happening around us, continues to allow this process to run automatically? And when you think about that, and when you bring it back to the basics of what is happening within your body, what is happening without you having to direct it, I would invite you to be amazed. I'm amazed. Why does this continue, and why do I spend so much time with my attention so far removed from the magic that exists in my own body? How would you explain this to a child? How would you explain what happens in your body? How would you explain the wonder all around them? Children can be increasingly and everlastingly curious, but why should they not be? They've just turned up in this environment where everything is new. No one's asking questions. No one seems to know what's going on. And no one really wants to tell them what's happening. They're just meant to accept that things are the way they are, and it's not necessary for us to know, or even not necessary for us to ask the questions. And we shut down the children, and we shut down their curiosity, and therefore allow our own curiosity to be shut down, and limit ourselves to just accepting that things are just there because they are there. But the more that we can get into that space of curiosity, which is the floodgate, the open of the floodgate to answers and questions and new possibilities, and also be in awe and wonder about the things that you see around you. And if you forget what that's like, if you ever see a child just noticing the world around them, a little baby who discovers it's got a foot and can't believe what this thing is. And yet we move past that point of being amazed by the body that we stand in to then bring it out into the world and forget that we're walking beings of wonder, living in an awesome environment. Although current events take our attention and our awareness of these things happening, they remain happening all the time. The idea of this inspired me so much that years ago I wrote a song. The song was called A State of Surprise, and it's about keep living and keep loving in a state of surprise. The state being the emotional state, but the state also how we would describe a country or a territory. To be in that state of surprise and wonder, why do certain things continue in spite of all of the other things? And I'll pop that song at the end as well so that you can listen and just think about the words, because it was something that I always wondered myself. It's like, why do we lose that state of surprise? And how can we bring ourselves back into a moment of awe and wonder with every day? As the world changes, can we remember to find that state? Can we remember to bring ourselves back into awe and wonder? Because then we get to remember who we are. Then we get to experience the vastness of our being. That brings us out of contraction and fear into the expansion and the possibility and the recognition of the interconnectedness of us all. And from Abraham Joshua Hesch, our goal should be to live life in radical amazement. Get up in the morning and look at the world in a way that takes nothing for granted. Everything is phenomenal. Everything is incredible. Never treat life casually. To be spiritual is to be amazed. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of High Energetic Resonance Inspirations. If you're enjoying this episode or all the episodes, please feel free to leave a review and also to share this episode with somebody that you feel may enjoy what I'm speaking about. If you want to find out more about me, please head over to my website. It's carolmaywhittick.com, carolmaywhittick.com. You can also find me on social media, Carol May Whittick on LinkedIn and Facebook, and on Instagram, Kazmic, Cazmick. Until the next episode, take care of yourself, remain in awe and wonder. Smell the flowers, steer from the seas in fear of the tide. Look to the fields, a spectrum of colors. Plant any seed and harvest new life. Nonplussed and oblivious to miracles surrounding us. Treasures in this life are ours for free. I walk the world humbled in awe like a child. I'm living in and loving in a state of surprise. How do you listen and not hear the music? Choose superstition to build your beliefs. There has arisen peace from the panic. This love revolution will see us released. Nonplussed and oblivious to miracles surrounding us. The treasures in this life are ours for free. I walk the world Every morning the sun lights the sky without